Good afternoon. Welcome everyone to Pretty Things with Halo Wreaths. My name is Nancy. Today I'm going to be working on a swag. Have you ever been working on your projects and discovered, oh no, I'm running out of something? Well, that happens to me all the time. And I wanted to work on a swag today, and it's a yucky rainy day. I didn't want to run out to the store and buy a paint stick because that's what I used to make my swags with. So I was looking around and I discovered something that's going to cost me $0. I'm going to recycle something and make a swag with it. And that would be my 21-inch Deco mesh roll. If you've ever made a mesh wreath using this 21-inch Deco mesh, the roll is stiff board. It's really, really solid and sturdy. And I think it's going to make a perfect base for my wreath. So we're going to be doing my inspiration piece here, which is a gigantic sunflower. And I'm going to be using some buffalo plaid and white mesh. And along with some smaller sunflowers and other pieces of floral to go along with that, as well as some green ribbon. And I don't have any sunflower ribbon, so we're not going to cry over that. We're going to just use a red or a yellow and white plaid along with some black polka dots. So if you're ready, let's get started. Okay, we're going to start out by cutting our mesh. I'm going to use 16-inch pieces of my buffalo plaid, my black and white buffalo plaid. The main reason being my mat is only 18 inches long, but I think 16 inches is going to be completely appropriate and plenty enough to make the ruffles that we're going to be using. I'm going to need 12 pieces of 16-inch cuts, so let's go ahead and get that cut. There's always one that's a bear. Bad bear. We'll be able to hide that bad cut underneath the when we roll it up to put it in. Left a little bit of mess there. Let's clean that up. Okay, so I ended up getting 13 cuts out of that. It was actually a leftover mesh roll. Trying to fix my camera angle here a little. Trying to get a little better angle for you guys. So I had 13 pieces. We'll use that extra piece if we have the opportunity to. The first thing we're going to do is put our zip ties, not zip ties, we're using chenille stems, pipe cleaners. I didn't have any black, didn't have any white, so I thought, what colors are going to go with sunflowers? Something that wouldn't make much of a difference if we're using greenery. So we're going to use brown and green. And the way I usually do mine, I put one in the middle, two 4 inches apart, one above, one below, and then another 4 inches, one above and one below. I put 3 at the top and the bottom. So let's see, this roll should be about 21 inches. So what I'm going to do is use my my mat here that I wish was 24 inches. I can eyeball it though. I know the center of this mat is not at 9, so that's where I'm going to mark the center on my roll. Let me grab, I don't want the silver one, we'll use a pink one. Let me grab a pen, and we're just going to mark a 9, mark it right here at 9 for the center. And then we're going to go down 4 inches to the 5. And we'll go down 4 more inches to the 1. And on the opposite side, we're going to go up 4 inches to 13. And we'll go up 4 more inches to 17, somewhere close to that area anyway. That way at least I know where I've got to put my pipe cleaners. Now, a lot of people only use one pipe cleaner per section. I use 2, and I use 3 on the top. So, normally I would zip tie or tie these around and staple them down on a paint. If I was using a paint stick, what I would normally do is staple them down and add a little glue on top. But since I don't have a paint stick, I'm just going to put one here in the center. I'm going to twist it around, get it nice and tight. Then I'm going to take another one and do the same thing, only I'm going to do it on the opposite side, facing the opposite side, should I say. And make sure it's nice and even there. Let's see. Just a little more clumsy to work with, but for the cost, I have absolutely nothing invested in my base. This would have gone out to the trash. Alright, so we've got our center section ready. Let's go ahead and do put our handle on. And I usually put the handle just beneath the top section. Okay. This is a learning process for me. So let's just tighten this up here. Hot glue that down. And then I'll make a loop here. Twist off my loop. I'm not sure if you can see that little loop there, but that's going to be our hanging loop. And I want to make sure it's directly in the back. It is, so I'm going to go ahead and put some hot glue there. Whoop, hot glue there on it. And I'll let it dry. It's way don't want these sliding around on this cardboard. Okay, there we go. Now, while that's drying, I'm going to take off my wristband. Does anybody else have to wear wristbands? I know, or wrist braces. I know I said earlier that many of you probably do, but they do get stuck in the mesh and it's very hard to use them. Wow. Thirsty. Okay. I'm on glue. I'm gonna wait for this glue to dry. It's like waiting for glue to dry. Actually, I'll take my little fan. I have this little fan here. This little fan, I got at Dollar Tree. It hangs around your neck. If any of you experience overheating at times, this little fan works great. I used it last night while I was cooking dinner, and I didn't overheat once. Normally I do. I've got it sitting here on my table, my work table, blowing on me now, and it's working great. Okay, that should be dry. So, put the fan back in place. Now, I want to hot glue our, there we go. I'm going to hot glue these down into place. I'm just going to put a little dab of glue here. Doesn't slide. And I'm going to add a dab of glue down in here so that doesn't slide. Make sure they're lined up evenly. Just put a little dab of glue, just enough to hold that pipe cleaner, or that set of pipe cleaners, because remember we tied them together, just to hold it steady. Not let it go slipping and sliding around to the back side of your frame. Okay, on here we've got 2 pieces to do. I can't operate my glue gun with my left hand. Come on. There we go. Now, while we're waiting for that glue to dry, I'll set it in front of my fan. While we're waiting for that glue to dry, I did cut 12 pieces to go with my 2, 4, 6, 10, 12. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, I cut, how many did I cut? 12? 13. I cut 13 pieces. So we're going to have to substitute in some white, and I'm going to do that after we get this mesh put together, because that makes me one short. Let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12. No, I'm right. 12 pieces. I can't do math today. We only needed 12 pieces. I cut 13 because I had one left over, and I'll use it as a filler. Okay, let's see. Is that glue? Yeah, that glue's ready. So let's start. Let's see, which one was my extra piece from the end? I put it over there. So let's just start grabbing one. These all stick together so easily. This mesh is, I know you've used the mesh before that has those cotton fabric lines in it. This is all almost like a fabric, complete fabric mesh. But we're going to do the cruffle or the woodland ruffle, whatever people call it. may not be able to do as many rolls as I want to at the end here. Let's just see. Let's just start. Oh, I need a clip. Let me grab a clip. Hold on just a second. I'm not sure about you, but in my house, clips magically disappear. They're called children. Okay, 1, 2. Just going to roll that over just enough to hide that cut edge. Turn it around. I like to make a nice tight little roll at the edge, especially since I'm working with a shorter piece of mesh. Okay, so I did 1, 2, and we're going to gather straight up the center, which is pretty easy to do here with this buffalo check. Now, oh, that's a pretty piece. Okay, so the debate is curly side up, curly side down. I can't decide. I think I'm going to do curly side down. Excuse me. The reason being, because if I do the curly side up, there's a possibility that you could see some of that fray pretty easily. So I'm going to just do curly side down. I'm going to start here at the top, not at the very top. The one at the very top I will do last. The top and the very bottom, I will do those last. I'm going to put these in here on each side. Right and left. 1, 2. Let's see if I got that in there kind of straight. It's pretty cute. We can move this around since it's, let me twist it back around like that. I don't know. We've got a lot of flexibility with this. So let's go ahead and curl up another one. All right. 1, 2. Make sure you're aiming at the center there. My first one looks kind of off center. Now I'm going to go to the opposite side and put that one in. Oh, I knocked my fan over. You guys, if my screen flickers, I have absolutely no idea why that's happening. If anybody's techie out there and has an idea as to why it's happening, at first I thought it was because I had my phone on the charger, but it's not charging now. The last video I did, it was not charging, but every now and then you just get this flash of light. The lights above me aren't flashing. My phone's not moving. I don't know if maybe there are gremlins in here, perhaps. But if anybody has any idea why that's happening, let me know. Okay. How's that look? I'm going to show you where my view isn't that precious. That's why I like to put one on each side. We get double the volume. And then we're going to work all the way down, and then our last pieces we'll put top and bottom. And I'm going to be quiet and just work through this and speed it up so you guys don't have to listen to me. Okay, now hopefully you can see after putting all 12 pieces of mesh on here, I don't think I'm going to need an extra piece. I can kind of see a little hole right there. I might go in. As a matter of fact, I think I will. I think I'll go in and put in one extra piece since I have one. It also might be a good idea if you're going to use this technique, going to use your leftover rolls to go ahead and paint this piece of cardboard before you start decorating with it. It's a good idea. Certainly can't hurt. But everywhere looks so flush and so full. I'm just going to do a quickie roll on this one because this is not quite 16 inches. It's just a little bit shorter. It's maybe about 13 inches. So we'll just do that quickie ruffle there and put it here in the center to just make sure that we have any gaps and spaces filled in. Now, there we go. All right. This is really super full to be, I mean, nobody would ever guess the back of it is basically a poster board roll. All right, our next step, I have to think real quick. I want it to be either the ribbon or the gigantic sunflower. I want the sunflower to be the main focus of the wreath. So I'll probably go ahead and put it on next. Okay, so give me just a moment to, I'm going to have to remove that sunflower from the stem. I've got it right here. It is on like a 3-foot long stem. It's a pretty big sunflower. Give me just a second to remove it. And actually these leaves, I'm going to remove these too. Those will be great to use here inside this project as well. Okay, so one moment. Okay, I was just working on deciding deciding the placement of where I want this gigantic sunflower to be. And I think I want it to be near the top, near the center. and I've got to remember actually right here is going to be perfect. I think I'm going to put it right here, and then we'll put our gigantic bow here, and then we'll have some ribbon coming down, and we'll work our remaining flowers in with the ribbon as it flows down. Okay, there is only one way I know to get this flower in here, and that's going to be to hot glue it. But I think we can do it and get it in there successfully where it'll hold really well. I do, again, only use Gorilla Glue. I have my little Gorilla hot glue gun here. I think I've got it set on low, too. I do have it set on low. I'm not sure why I still have it set on low. That's probably so I won't burn myself as bad. Y'all know hot glue burns can hurt. Okay, let's go in there for the main piece. I'm just going to hold it down for a second to make sure we get a good setting. I'm going to make sure it stays in place right where I put it. I'm also having some secondhand thoughts on the ribbon. I know if you've watched any of my videos, I'm known to change my mind often. But this yellow, you can see here, this yellow that I picked is not the exact same yellow that's in the sunflower. And I was trying to look through my ribbon stash. I have a lot. I do have another one that's a pretty goldenrod yellow like this, but it doesn't fold properly. I don't know. But I do have the bumblebee. I used this in my last project, and I think it would go really pretty with the sunflower. So I've got the bumblebee. That's yellow. This yellow is the exact same shade. And then if I use my green, I actually got this roll at Paper Mart for like $2. And this is a 40-yard, 25-yard. I'm sorry, 25-yard. I got two of them, though. I should have grabbed the other one because it's already open, but I didn't. So I'm going to make a pretty bow to put up top, and then we're going to make some tails to run down the side here. Let's check and see. Oh, yeah, she's on there good. She's on there good. Why do we refer to our objects as with a sex like that? My wreaths are always referred to as a she. My bow is a she. Everything's a she. My car's a she. Okay, I'm just making sure I've got this attached really, really well on each side. Okay. Alright, let me change my setup and we'll go ahead and get that bow made. Okay. It would be natural to start with the green on bottom, but the yellow is so big. I think what I'll do is layer on. Let's see. Let's just try this out. Maybe put some tails on the top. Sometimes I just do, no, this one's going to have a bow. Sometimes I do just a 3-loop bow at the top. Oh, where did my scissors go? There they are. And go ahead and do our dovetail. Okay. Now, I'm not going to make this mega long because I'm actually going to go in and add extra pieces of ribbon to make it look like the ribbon is flowing more. So I'm going to start this off with about a 12-inch gel, and we'll go from there. I think we'll do 4 loops on the bottom. Five-inch loops. Let's see. A little bigger. Yeah. We'll do 4 5-inch loops on the bottom. This one might have been easier to do by hand. Okay. Remember, we're going to have tails coming down. I think I want a single tail of this color and a single tail of green. So I'm going to end this tail on the top. Okay? And you guys will see where I'm going with that once we get it put onto the swag. Okay, so let's put it about right here. I don't want it to be too far out because I've learned it won't fit into a shipping box if I make it too big. Not without squishing the bow, and I don't want to do that to my customers. Once again, I'm going to open a new roll. Okay. Go ahead and dovetail it. Let me fold up this section here. Okay. Not sure what kind of fabric this is. It's kind of thin. Alright, we are going to start on the opposite side at the top. So we'll have a, yes, like this. I'll do 4 loops, a little bit smaller in size. I'm going to throw this on the floor. Okay. 4 loops a little smaller in size. looks good there. Twist it. Bring it back around. I went down about a ½ inch in size. Well, maybe more than that. No, about a ½ inch. Alright. Some ribbon can be way more cumbersome than the other ribbon. Alright. Go through here and make our twist. Make sure our loop sizes are even. I may do 2 more loops with this. I want it to be really, really big. And do 2 more smaller loops with it. Like that. Okay. And then let's do 2 more smaller loops right here through the center. And then cut that tail. Alright. Excuse me. I'm going to use a zip tie to bundle this all together, and then I will attach it to my base with a chenille stem. And I'm going to let this flow together down the base. Actually, I won't be able to do that because the flower is on either side, but that's okay. I've got a way to fix it. Zip tie. Oh, I have some here on the table actually. Now this green ribbon, like I said, I had already opened the other package of it. It is notorious for slipping around, so I gotta be careful with it. Hold it tightly. Keep my bow shape as we go. I'll work that. You can see I am working my chenille stem through the back, and I'm going to pull it tight now. And I'm going to use my little GUN that my dog doesn't like, but I'm not going to make it pop. I'm just going to use it to pull it tight. So I want to make sure this ribbon is good and tight. Okay, yeah, that's good and tight. And I can cut it myself without scaring my sweet Maggie. Okay. Now, there we have our bow. Oh, we gotta do a dovetail here. To redo that one. No, that looks good. Okay. Only thing about working with the swags is that you have to work on them from side to side rather than it'd probably be easier if I had a board, a hanging board to work with, but I don't, so we're just going to use what we got. Fluff my ribbon out. I don't know why I'm doing it now because I'm going to fluff it again 100 times once I get it on there. It's going to be really cute with the sunflower. Bees go with sunflowers, right? They do. And with this honeycomb shape on here, that looks cute. Very cute together. Okay. So let's get it on here and let's see how we're going to do our tails. Alright. Back with our big piece. I need to sip my drink. So I'll put it on here and bring my tails down each side. I have a plan. Never fear. Let me just go ahead and get this attached to the base. Find a spot. Get in there. Got one on the left. Just like working bond. Okay, come on. Got it on the right. Get in through the left side. There we go. Okay. Make sure my bow is centered. Okay, and I'm going to bring it off screen here for a second so I can just spin my chenille stem really well. This mesh sticks to everything. It's insane. The insane mesh. It's like an ivy that just grows and grows, sticks to everything. Okay, now. Alright. My thinking was to run the tails down either side, but that's not going to work because they don't match, right? So I'm going to have to add one to either side. That's okay. We can do that. Let me get this up, and I said I want my flower to be the main focus, so I want my flower to be over the bow. Split up like that. There we go. How is that looking? How's that looking, y'all? What I'm going to do is cut off another piece of ribbon to match each side of these and just go ahead and work them in and down. Okay, so you can just follow along and watch me as I do this. Not a super hard trick. I've got some twisties up here to use. I can find the other one. There it is. Okay. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to need, I'm going to make the yellow a little bit longer on this side. And I'm just going to fold it in. I'm going to reach up here behind my green ribbon and add this to my chenille stems that I have here that are already here. And you won't be able to see this when we get our bow fluffed back up. Just going to add it. Twist really tight. Don't want your ribbon coming out. Okay. And now we'll pull that back around. And now we have some pretty tails. And I want these tails to sort of land here. Let's see if I can. Wish that green one was a little longer. Okay, my precious viewers, I've been interrupted again and again as I try to film this. So, during my last interruption, I was looking at this. I'll change the angle as well because there it goes, it's flickering again. I changed the angle because I didn't like the way that the ribbon flowed down the side. I want it to flow specifically in a certain pattern. Now, let me show you what I've done. Can you see that? Okay. What I've done is I've cut a piece about 3 feet long, maybe not quite that long, maybe 2 feet. And I attached it just here behind the flower. And I gave it a tail. And I dovetailed that area just up behind the bow. And I made a nice little poof. And then I did the same thing down here, so we can fluff it out, and it'll just look really super pretty when we're done. We're going to work our flowers in and around this ribbon. Okay? Hold on, let me plug my phone in the charger. Alright, not genius, but I figured out what the problem was. There's a TV, a large TV in the room behind me. I have a divider between this room and that room, but the light was still affecting my lighting in here. So, there should be no more of that flashing. Alright. So what we're going to do is cut another piece or 2 pieces of ribbon to match this one and place it on the other side. Okay? Let me move this out of the way here. And I'm just going to eyeball it. Let's Okay, we've got our 2 pieces cut. I'm going to go ahead and dovetail the ends as well, as I'll get that step out of the way now. It's easier to do it before, much harder to do it after. Okay, so I'm going to take my ribbon, lay down the smaller piece on top of the larger one. I want that top tail to be about 4 inches long, so I'm just going to stitch it on up together right here. We're going to take our, my fan got stuck. We're going to take this and spin it around. Right here behind the flower there are 2 chenille stems from where I attached the mesh. I'm going to use those 2 chenille stems to attach my ribbon. Okay. This is another one of those situations where you're going to be kind of working blind a little bit, but not too bad. Not super easy though either. Once we're done with everything, we'll go back and trim all the chenille stems off when we're certain we don't need them anymore. Okay, now we've got the first one on. I don't know if you can see that. You see that? Okay. Now I want to make, do I want to make this other one match, or do I want it to be sort of, it's a little bit longer. So maybe I want to bring it around and have it off center. I think I do, because I'm going to arrange my flowers in such a way that it's going to look different. Okay? Just trust me. Just trust me. I've done this with one that I made a few weeks ago, and it sold really fast. So maybe it'll be a good idea. Okay, and we're going to use 2 of these chenille stems that we have down here. We have an abundance of chenille stems in this area. Alright, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3. It's on tight, and we're going to poof out our tail and sort of straighten up our middle poof here. That's pretty. Not sure if you can see that. Like I said, once we get this loaded with flowers, it's going to look good. And in the end, you'll see the end result in an upright position. Okay. So now, what do I have to add to this? Oh, I've also got, I could always add another tail, and I may do that. I did that on the other one as well. But right now, I think I want to start adding my other sunflowers, as well as some baby's breath or some white lavender that I have. Let's go ahead and grab those. I will probably add some ficus leaves as well. Let's just see how much volume we get out of these flowers. Now these don't match the main flower perfectly, but they go pretty well and they actually have the baby's breath all connected on the same stem. So that's pretty good. I don't have to worry about putting any of this in separately. Let me trim off one and just get started with one. See how it looks. Definitely want to put them over our connections. Is that what you want to call that area? I'm going to call it my connection area. I want to put one over this area here. I think that'll be pretty. Let me pull my twisty ties back out of the way. Okay. I'm going to make it permanent, so I want to make it right. Here we go with our hot glue. I'm going to be generous with the hot glue on this because it's going in the mesh. It can be really hard to get these little things into mesh sometimes. There we go. Okay. Went right in. Perfect. Now I just want to make sure that's going to hold it in. This is the reason I wanted my flowing ribbon to come down and at two separate points, because I knew I was going to add flowers to them, and you don't want to be identical. Otherwise you'd have two flowers right here together and that wouldn't look right. Okay, so let's get another one and we'll put it over this one here. I need a big one. I've got some baby ones in here too, so we'll probably stick some of those in the center. Let's see. All right. I have to play a game of operation here. The baby ones now are the only ones that have baby's breath on them. See that? These look a little different than those. So should I use those with the baby's breath right there? I wish I could take a live poll. I think I will. Just to give it a different feel. Just so everything's not so identical throughout the entire wreath. Okay. Some things you want to be matchy-matchy and some things you don't. I will never wear this shirt when filming again. My puppy shirt. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's put this one. Let's try it on for size where I want it to go. Yeah, that's going to look great, I think. Different sizes, different textures. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue it on here. Okay, let's see, where did I get it in? I got it in right there. Okay. I'm just going to hold it down for a minute to make sure we get adhesion. Let's hid my tail there. We can pull the tail out to the side. It's no problem. Next question is, should I go around and put greenery? Oh, I have the leaves for the big sunflower. I definitely want to use those because they're pretty. They're a lighter green and they're very large. I want to use those for certain. Okay. Question is, where do I want to use them? Do I want to go up here? Let's see if I can get one up here. Yes, that would be so cute. Okay. We're going to put it right there. Very carefully wedge it under. And I am going to do the other one on the same side because in this case I want it to be matchy-matchy. I actually have one more, but I think two will be fine in this case. Okay. I keep my bow fluffed as I go. I'm going to turn it around and work from the opposite side. That big leaf just looks like it's alive. Okay, and then I'm going to do this one. Let's make sure I've got a spot for it to go into. Let's see. I can put it right there. Yep. Oh, that's going to be gorgeous. Okay. Up and go in underneath. Beautiful. So pretty. This is going to be one of those you want to keep for yourself. Is that this right? I'm holding on to quite a few right now. All right. Now what we have, you can see that. Let me hold it this way. Can you see it? Yes. The center is empty, so we want to fill in the center with something matchy-matchy, right? So we've got a couple of more flowers. Let's see where we want to put those. Actually, I think I'm just going to do, we've got one more of these small flowers. And it's got the baby's breath attached to it already. So I think I'm going to use it in the center. I don't want to overdo it with the flowers on this thing because they're already big. Okay. Right, so if we go in kind of just right front and center here, maybe off center a little. Yeah, off center a little. Let's see, how does that look? Off center a little with the baby's breath going in that direction. Yeah, I think I like that. I do think that I like that. Okay. Trim that down some more. I have not enough hot glue to go on this one. I should. Okay. I had it situated around this area here. You know, I was going to go ahead and just add sparkly things and a lot of greenery, but this is so simple and country farmhouse. I don't think it needs all that. I think it's perfect as it is. Sometimes you don't need all that bling. Although I like it, don't get me wrong. Let me hold this up and look at it, you guys. I think it's turned out great as is, just as I'm holding it here. I'm going to go ahead and trim off my excess twisty ties and take an image of it, and we're going to call it complete, simply because I think it is complete. It doesn't need anything else. I was going to go a lot deeper with this, but it doesn't need it. It says enough as it is. It says, welcome to the South. I'm from South Alabama, and we have a farm here where you can go and pick your own sunflowers. It's absolutely wonderful. We do it every November. And I love bringing my sunflowers home. I used to have a cat that loved it too, but I don't have the kitty anymore. Rest its soul. Okay. Let me trim off one more of these. I'll trim the rest of these off camera. I don't want to bore you guys to death. I will pause and change the angle of the camera so I can give you one final look at our finished product, okay? All right, 1 second. Okay, isn't she a beaut? Do you love her? This just goes to show you can make changes as you go, and I'm sure a lot of us do that. I hope you enjoyed spending time with me making this wreath, and if you would please like and subscribe. I would really, really appreciate it. I need viewers, you guys. Join me next time. I will probably be working on a deco mesh bow or something glittery. Since we didn't do anything sparkly today, maybe we'll do something sparkly next time. I had a great time with you guys, and it was nice to see you. Join me next time. Bye-bye.